Imagine you're a normal teenager playing video games, GTA, Call of Duty, and maybe some Minecraft. Next thing you know, you somehow find a way to hack accounts of the rich and famous people, and suddenly you find yourself living the high life, designer clothing, luxury trips, even hanging out with some of the celebrities. This is not a movie script, this is the real life of PlugWalkJoe, aka Joseph James O'Connor, the teen who seemed unable to stop hacking celebrities. It is not a tale full of glamour and luxury, but of greed, dangerous hacks, an eventual downfall that shocked the online world. Who was PlugWalkJoe? Joseph James O'Connor, also known as PlugWalkJoe, is perhaps one of the most prominent figures in a group commonly referred to as OG users. Joe is not one doing this for some thrills. In fact, he's among the wealthiest members, sporting scarce social media handles, luxury outfits and travels, as well as becoming a part of celebrity friend groups, networking with notable individuals such as Ricegum. However, what made PlugWalkJoe infamous in truth was his seemingly unbeatable run of hacks involving big-name users. The tricks that made him famous. PlugWalkJoe's hacking career started with something called SIM swapping, essentially a form of identity theft in which the hacker assumes control of someone's phone number. All Joe needed was some information, and he could divert someone's phone number to his device and gain access to their accounts. In 2018, Joe really hit the big time when he hacked into Logan Paul's account and posted a fake giveaway of iPhones. Though he had been composed within hours, the act was done. Joe now had a foot into the world of high-stakes hacking. From there, Joe was with a crew called the Chuckling Squad, which was hacking celebrity social media accounts. They hacked James Charles, Shane Dawson, Amanda Cerny, and even Twitter's founder, Jack Dorsey. The simplicity of their method was straightforward: SIM swap, get in, then post outlandish messages, all fun and games until they crossed that one line, hacking into the account of the deceased streamer Etika only a month after his unfortunate passing. The backlash this elicited was fierce in every direction, and even made PewDiePie condemn them for lacking any form of respect whatsoever. The hacking spree by Chuckling Squad continued well into August 2019 as they targeted the big names and influencers. They hacked the accounts of King Bach, Shane Dawson, and even Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey, using SIM swapping as a method through which they could disseminate bizarre and offensive messages across the media, thereby gaining public attention and causing criticism. The series of attacks cemented the fact that PlugWalkJoe was a hacktivist of infamous repute, prospering in an environment of turmoil and scandal. The Twitter hack of 2020. But it was the hack into Twitter in 2020 that really made PlugWalkJoe famous. The group of hackers to which Joe belonged penetrated Twitter's internal tools and took control of more than 130 accounts of users like Barack Obama, Bill Gates, and Elon Musk. It was a bold intrusion in which a compromised employee's login credentials granted access to Twitter's internal systems. Once they got in, they began a gigantic Bitcoin scam, promising to double any money sent to their Bitcoin address. The brazenness of the hack sent shockwaves around the world, and though returns were surprisingly modest at about $118,000, it highlighted vulnerabilities even in the largest social media platforms. Joe is not the ringleader running the scam, but he did manage to get some of the original Twitter handles during the chaos, so he is complicit in the scam. But all this took on a dramatic turn with the hacking case into several millions of Twitter handles in 2020. The scale of this attack and the stature of those whose handles had been compromised made it a major cybercrime of this decade. Though PlugWalkJoe's participation may have only peripherally involved him in what transpired, his facilitation to purchase stolen handles and having connections with those responsible brought him under the scanners during the police investigation. Cryptocurrency and ransom. Joe's criminal enterprise did not end there. In 2019, he pulled off a cryptocurrency heist that netted him an astonishing $779,000 from an executive at the Gemini crypto exchange. Using SIM swapping, Joe and his co-conspirators managed to gain access to the executive's crypto accounts. However, their plan to launder the stolen funds eventually caught up with them, sending law enforcement straight to Joe's doorstep. The hack was sophisticated and required careful planning, but also reflected the recklessness that would eventually lead to Joe's downfall. In another case, Joe hacked into the actress Bella Thorne's account. He tried to blackmail her with private photos, but Bella took a turn of events and shared the photos herself, leaving Joe with nothing. This bold move gave Bella much publicity and left Joe completely humiliated. It was a poignant reminder that not all of Joe's targets would go down without a fight. The arrest. Thus, carelessness caught up with Joe. He was taken into custody in 2021 inside his apartment in Spain. He was extradited to the United States and went on to face charges that included the Gemini crypto attack and hacking several accounts, including those belonging to Addison Rae and Bella Thorne. Besides the infamous Twitter hack, Joe was found to be facing a possible sentence of 77 years, but got off rather lightly with a sentence of 5 years credit for time served in Spain. Guess hacking celebrities is fun, but not free. During his stay in Spain, Joe remained in close contact with his online community. His bravado, even while inside and boasting about all that he had done on multiple exploits and minimizing the several charges against him, only made his confidence that no one will ever catch him, but merely steeled the lawmen's shoulders as they began to build a solid case against the prisoner. They followed him for years, and the hacking of Twitter was the last piece they needed in the puzzle to bring this individual to justice. The dark side of PlugWalkJoe. But hacks and scams weren't enough. Joe had much darker side, swatting as if to crown the list. This sinister action made false emergency calls to the dispatch, getting armed police to the unsuspecting victim's home, and he used the tactic against everyone he perceived as a threat. He called in threatening phone calls dressed as a distraught father, once to a police station, another time to a high school, and another to an airport. In doing so, he placed many lives in jeopardy. His level of harassment was the key reason why the FBI wanted to extradite him. The swatting incidents showed the darker side of Joe's personality. It was never about money or fame. Joe enjoyed the power he had over other people's lives, even if that meant sacrificing some innocent ones. Swatting calls were complex operations where Joe used different personas and issued threats that led to great police operations. This was dangerous and irresponsible, and everything led to a series of additional charges against him. The aftermath. This is a cautionary tale in itself. This is the story of a teenager who got way too much power too soon, bringing havoc and chaos with him. Even if he enjoyed life luxuriously for some time with tales that were circulating about having millions of dollars in net worth, his foolishness and constant seeking for attention led to his end. From publicly posting his hacks on the internet to frequently using the same VPN servers, Joe committed mistakes, easily allowing the authorities to close in on him. The hacker community often thinks itself uncatchable behind its screen, holding the tech, which allows one to fool the authorities, but it tells even the best hackers to make a blunder. His desire to bring himself recognition and fame made him go all out and endanger the things that exposed his identity to the world. And a degree of madness played, where he left digital traces open for law enforcement to see the trails he was weaving on, and his compulsion in bragging about crime gave him an easy catch. Money, power, and errors. If there is something that distinctly characterizes PlugWalkJoe, it is the lavish lifestyle he lived. He walked around in designer clothes, sporting expensive watches, and jetted off on luxurious getaways, all funded through his endeavors. Still, the money wasn't always easy to come by. Joe was heavily involved in the buying and selling of rare social media handles, OG names that carried significant value in the underground. He would overpay for all these accounts in order to improve his status as one of the richest hackers in the world. Joe teamed up with big influencers such as Ricegum to create a GTA roleplay server that created much attention. However, the server did not find its utmost potential because Joe had issues with the law. His association with Ricegum was just an opportunity for him to advance his wealth and power, indicating how he somehow managed to be in a league of other famous internet people. Despite his vast fortune, Joe's mistakes were what sealed his fate. He repeatedly used the same VPN servers, failing to sufficiently mask his digital trail. His operational security was woefully inadequate, far lower than one would expect from someone embroiled in high-profile cybercrimes. With only a rudimentary setup, a VPN and a virtual machine, he tried to cover his tracks, but it was too little. Ultimately, it was his carelessness that allowed law enforcement to connect the dots and find him. The verdict. As of June 23rd, though, Joe was sentenced to 5 years in federal prison, with 28 months withdrawn for time served in Spain. This would imply that he still has more than 2 years to his sentence, which according to the non-violent cybercrime he was committing, could have released him earlier. The rather lenient sentence given to Joe has ignited hot debate. Most people believe that, considering the gravity of his crimes, from hacking celebrities to swatting innocent victims, he was let off too lightly. The other side feels that Joe was just a young, misguided soul who got caught up in the excitement of hacking, without realizing the reality of what he was doing. However, the results of his actions are there for all to see, and what he did to his victims cannot be overlooked. In conclusion, PlugWalkJoe's rise and fall is a reminder behind the screen. You might feel like you're invincible, but actions have consequences. All that temptation of hacking celebrities and living a high life was worth it for Joe until the end, when his recklessness cost him his freedom. And for anyone watching, it's clear, crime might pay for a while, but it always comes with a price. That is a wrap if you enjoyed this video. And to find out these extraordinary stories coming out in cybercrime, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell, guys.